It was a cold, rainy night in a small Arizona town. The Iron Soul's biker bar buzzed with loud laughter, the smell of whiskey and the hum of old rock music. Outside, thunder rolled as rain poured down in heavy sheets. Suddenly, the door swung open, and everyone turned to look. A young, pregnant woman stood there, soaked to the bone, her hands shaking as she clutched her belly. Her eyes were full of fear and pain. The music stopped. Rough men in leather jackets stared in silence, unsure what to do. "Please," she said softly, "I need help. My car broke down, and I think my baby's coming." A few of the bikers exchanged uneasy glances, but none moved. Then their leader, Jack Raven Malone, stood up from the corner table. His voice was deep but calm. "Get her a towel and some coffee," he said firmly. The men obeyed. Raven took off his leather jacket and placed it over her shoulders. "You're safe here," he added. Emily could barely whisper a thank you before tears filled her eyes. No one in that bar knew it yet, but that single act of kindness was about to change all of their lives forever. Raven guided Emily to a booth near the fireplace, wrapping a blanket around her trembling shoulders. Her face was pale, her breathing uneven, but she tried to stay strong. "What's your name?" Raven asked gently. "Emily," she whispered. "I'm alone. I have nowhere to go." The room went quiet. The bikers, who once filled the bar with rough talk, now stood awkwardly, unsure how to help. One of them hurried to make hot water, while another found clean towels. Outside, the storm raged harder, thunder shaking the walls. Raven picked up the old phone behind the counter, trying to call the local doctor, but the line was dead. He cursed under his breath. "Roads are flooded," someone said. "No one's coming tonight." Raven looked around at his men who'd fought wars, survived prisons and carried scars, and said firmly, "Then we'll help her ourselves." They nodded without hesitation. The rough, leather-clad bikers turned the bar into a makeshift shelter. Emily winced in pain as contractions grew stronger, clutching Raven's hand tightly. He had seen many storms, but none like this. For the first time in years, he felt something real: fear, hope, and the weight of responsibility for a new life. The night dragged on, the storm outside howling like a beast. Inside the bar, Emily's cries echoed through the room, raw and desperate. Raven knelt beside her, holding her hand, as sweat dripped down his temple. "You're doing great, Emily," he murmured, his voice steady, but his heart racing. The others waited outside the room, pacing nervously, their tough faces pale with worry. They had fought rival gangs and the law, but nothing had ever made them feel this helpless. Hours passed. The flickering candles cast long shadows on the walls, and the sound of rain mixed with Emily's labored breathing. Then suddenly the cries stopped, followed by the soft, fragile wail of a newborn. The room fell silent. Raven looked down, his rough hands trembling as he lifted the tiny baby wrapped in his leather jacket. "You did it," he said softly, tears welling in his eyes. Emily smiled weakly, her voice barely above a whisper. "Thank you for not turning me away." Raven swallowed hard. "No, thank you," he said. "You brought something good into this place." Outside, thunder rolled again, but inside, the Iron Souls found something stronger than fear: the sound of new life. Morning sunlight filtered through the bar's dusty windows, painting everything in a soft golden glow. Emily lay resting on a couch, her newborn wrapped snugly in Raven's leather jacket. The bikers, who had spent the night awake and anxious, now moved quietly, cleaning up the chaos left behind. Raven brewed a fresh pot of coffee, his face calm but thoughtful. Outside, the storm had passed, leaving the world washed clean. A sheriff's car pulled up, tires crunching on wet gravel. The door opened, and Sheriff Dalton stepped in, his eyes scanning the scene. "Heard you boys delivered a baby last night," he said, half smiling. Raven shrugged. "Guess we did what we had to." The sheriff looked at Emily and nodded with quiet respect. "You did good, Malone." Raven didn't answer. His eyes were fixed on the sleeping baby. Later, Emily decided to stay in town. She named her son Ryder, a name born from that wild, stormy night. Weeks later, a new sign hung above the bar door: Iron Souls, home for riders and hope. Every time Raven saw it, He remembered that one frightened woman who walked in out of the rain and gave them all a reason to change.